When I look at this from a candidate perspective, a lot of candidates are asking, I have people reach out to me and really ask about particular companies. And one of the things they ask is, hey, who do they hire at this company, right? Who do they try to hire at this company? And I haven't really seen evidence that they're reaching out and trying to get with me. And so one of the things that candidates are asking is, and I think everybody who's involved in employment branding should be thinking, why should a candidate work for your company? How do you answer that question, right? Is there a match, to your point, with the values of the company and the candidate? Because candidates are being much more selective about the companies they work for, even in times where there are lots of jobs out there, or maybe there are not that many jobs. Candidates are still thoughtful. It's not enough anymore to just have a job. They want to know, am I going to a place that values me? They're an inclusive organization. How do I make sure that I'm getting into a good deal and a place where I can grow and I can maintain my career? And sometimes you're just starting your career. And so candidates are really focused on how do they connect with this company. And I think one of the first things you have to do is you need to have that brand resonate with your internal workforce. Are your internal workers the ones who are going out and championing your cause? I'd love to get your thoughts on how a company can really prep their internal workforce to go out and be those brand ambassadors that so many companies need, because the employees have more connections than the company could ever have. And so I'd love to get your insight on that.
So I'm going to answer that with a brief response now, but I want to go back to something you said a moment ago, which was that companies need to walk the walk, talk the talk, and walk the walk. And staff members, employees, team members are going to see that. And when they see that, they're going to embrace that brand that much more to be an ambassador for that brand. If the company ends up talking out of both sides of their face, it's not going to work. Coming back to the point you made of, low employment, high employment, I think that the recruiting space was a little befuddled over the last several years, over 10 years worth of time, where we've been low unemployment and then approached a higher level of unemployment, not counting our recent COVID period, that candidates, especially new candidates coming into the workforce, were very selective and always took control to make it an employee's market versus an employer's market. And a lot of my recruiting friends were like, I don't get it. There are a ton of jobs. We should be in control to say we're picking who we want. And yet the candidates were still shopping who they wanted to work for, even when it was in only a few jobs available, because they want to align with a brand that meets their values, that meets their lifestyle. And so companies had to really learn quickly that they had to shift and identify what values and lifestyles their future workforce were more inclined to have, to then align their brands to those so that they could be selected. Even if it was only 2 jobs and 30 candidates, they could still be selected by the candidate as wanting to work there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes a ton of sense. And that totally resonates with me.